Welcome to the podcast today. I'm Kelly Newsome, co-host of Your Future Therapist podcast, where two friends share life experience on topics of mental health and well-being so you feel less alone. It's season 2. On Fridays, I am solo unless I'm interviewing someone. But for 6 weeks beginning January 7th, I'm focusing on grief. So each week I'll touch base on concepts, processes, and general awareness about grief. And the purpose of the series is to help people become more aware and comfortable with grief and loss so that we can better support our loved ones who are experiencing this very personal expression. And so that if you're going through this, you can understand the emotions you're experiencing and to know that you're not alone. Now, my own relationship with grief has spanned almost my entire life, and I would say that in just maybe the last 8 years or so, I've been able to reconcile the past beliefs that I've had about grief, and I'm finally able to connect with grief in a way that is more healing than not. And I say that because living with grief and loss has its ups and downs, and it comes from all aspects of life. It's not only from the loss of a loved one. It comes from systemic oppression, from financial setbacks, from shattered hopes for the future, from health challenges, job loss, and the end of friendships. And it's also the disappointment from those who are living, our family and friends. There are even people who, in this moment, are struggling with grief and sorrow, but cannot connect with where it's rooted. There is a lot of grief in the world, so everyone is affected in some way. So an important part of this series includes your participation. Because I'm recording these weekly rather than a pre-batch, pre-recorded episodes, I can tailor episodes with your input. So please send in your questions and your stories that you're willing to share with our audience. And remember, this podcast is about helping others feel less alone. Grief is very lonely, so let's create the community through this series of Friday's episodes. Chime in, contribute, and make this ours together. So here's the outline beginning with the week 1, January 27th. So that will be about understanding grief. So I'll share insights on the types of grief from losing a loved one to just feeling grief and loss. Week 2, which is February 2nd, those are going to be personal stories. So I'll share stories about my own grief and those that decide to share their own stories through contribution, the ask that I am giving to everybody now. So we'll talk about personal stories. Week 3, which is February 9th, is coping strategies. So we'll discuss ways to manage grief in ways that also allow for expression. And also the duality of life, right? You're going to be grieving while also managing and living a regular life as possible. Week 4 is February 16th. That'll be a Q&A. So that's going to be an episode full of your questions, and I will get answers, whether that's my own input or my own experiences, or I will tap into the many resources I have on this subject. Week 5 is February 23rd. I'll discuss the healing power of creative outlets like art, writing, and music in the context of grief. And in our final week 6, that will be published on March 1st, I'll discuss how to become a system of support for your grieving loved ones. So in particular, I'll cover how to become more comfortable with the sorrow and grief of others. I'm very much looking forward to this series and working with you to ensure I'm answering questions and expanding everyone's understanding and comfort with grief. So as a reminder, send in those questions, comments, and stories. If you want to reach me by email me at yourfuturetherapistpodcast@gmail.com. You can text at 530-733-6400 and DM me on Instagram at yourfuturetherapist_pod. All of our contact information is in the show notes. I will also be running social media segments asking for input, so make sure to follow us on Instagram. And as always, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on the podcast platform you listen to us on. We're also on YouTube. So thank you for listening, and I'll be back next week. Just a quick correction. I originally said this series begins January 7th. It actually begins Friday, January 26th.